Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, as well as the thumbs up button, and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, folks, let's start with the price of Bitcoin. As you all may know, Bitcoin pumped past $42,000 today, still looking very bullish here on the daily chart, breaking the old all-time high, of course, and it's currently sitting at $72,236. And of course, the alts are going to follow. Ethereum crossed over $4,000. It's currently sitting at $4,064. BNB at $524. Solana at $147. XRP started to pump today, over 70 cents right now. Cardano over 76 cents, Dogecoin over 17 cents. So we're seeing liquidity is flowing from the altcoins down to other different altcoin categories, such as XRP and so forth. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for XRP to move. They've been complaining, why is the price not going? So here, Coindesk reported on it. It says XRP jumps 20% after mysterious Binance transfers as crypto rally expands to laggards. So I've often called XRP a laggard, right? It goes last. I've been here in multiple bull market cycles and I've seen that. And here we have some analysts doing some great technical analysis. And here, Crypto Wizard, who's been calling for a breakout for a while, exactly as called, XRP has exploded to 73 cents, giving Wizards a plus 27.29% ROI. A breakout above 73 cents will trigger a rally to 91 cents and higher. So, folks, many of you know I got this swing trade in play. I bought at 55 cents. I have a sell target at $1.35. Not financial advice. That's not my long-term hold bag. That's just my swing trade bag. I'm sharing those details to give you guys an idea how you can make money in this market. And here, 360 Trader, another great analyst, said XRP has a date with 86 cents first. So everyone's anticipating higher prices. And of course, if we look at the daily chart here, XRP still has to do its retracement to even touch its previous all-time high, or excuse me, the last cycle high of about $1.96 or $2. But of course, that rally got put to an end because of the SEC lawsuit. So XRP still has ways to go, and I believe it can do an all-time high this cycle. Not a guarantee, but I believe based on the relisting, the narratives, and much more, it can do that. So I'm bullish on XRP. Here's what Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out today. He said, Bitcoin ETF volumes have been soaring. We're due for a halving, and the broader crypto market is following Bitcoin's lead, as has historically been the case. As someone who has experienced multiple cycles of crypto is back, it's imperative that this bullishness go hand in hand with real-world utility. There's the real and inevitable march of progress. So that's what Brad had to say. And Bitcoin continues to move. The ETFs continue to suck up all the Bitcoin in the market. Folks, BitB, which is Bitwise's Bitcoin ETF, officially crossed $2 billion of assets under management. Here, James Seyffert of Bloomberg reported the following. We now have 5 U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs over $2 billion in assets, with BitB joining the club. Out of approximately 3,500 U.S. ETPs, there are only 445 with over $2 billion in assets. Going a step further, only 157 have more than $10 billion. GBTC and IBIT are there. FBTC is getting close. So folks, we know BlackRock is leading the charge here, but the other ETFs are also making tons of progress. This is huge for Bitwise, and exciting things are ahead. And the competition's heating up. Look at this, VanEck, which has their own ETF. They have removed all Bitcoin ETF trading fees until March 31st, 2025. Maybe we should put that on the calendar. That's the end of the bull market, right? These guys are, they have tons of analysts doing tons of chart analysis and much more. So they're removing all the trading fees, and it's in March of 2025. Maybe that's going to be around the blow off top. So this is why we want to pay attention to all these things. What are institutional investors like VanEck doing? And it's very fascinating that they're doing this. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon continues his FUD, saying, I won't ever personally buy Bitcoin. But of course, smoke and mirrors. His bank is buying the Bitcoin. His clients are buying the Bitcoin. JP Morgan has a Bitcoin wealth fund. They've been invested in Consensus, which builds out Ethereum and much, much more. They've been building their own blockchain Quorum, which is a private version of Ethereum. They have JPM coin. So watch what they do, not what they say. And we also got news that the London Stock Exchange is looking to start accepting Bitcoin exchange traded note applications. Folks, around the globe, these ETFs are launching. Obviously, the United States is the largest capital markets, so these ETFs are the most coveted and are going to perform the best. But you're going to have ETFs or ETPs, as they would call them, or even ETNs globally that are going to be buying up the Bitcoin supplies because this is a global asset class with a finite supply, real time on the blockchain, borderless. It's incredible what's happening. It will start with Bitcoin, then the altcoins would follow. So incredible, folks. Game theory playing out here. No country wants to get left behind. It's amazing, amazing what's happening. Now let's take a look at what are the top trending tokens on social media. These are metrics you can use to get an idea of the performance of coins and what's behind them and so forth. So of course, the data is from Sentiment and it was updated 9 minutes ago. And right now, Bitcoin leading the charge with the majority of social media mentions. BlockNet coming in at number 2, although their sentiment is shifting to more negative. Right now, negative sentiment is at 39.54%, leading ahead of positive and neutral. XRP at number 3 makes sense. And from this morning, the negative sentiment went down and the positive went up, obviously because of the price action. It was largely skewed towards negative earlier this morning. Celo is trending, and that is because I'll tell you the news right now. Tether USDT stablecoin to launch on the Celo blockchain. So Celo is getting some interesting adoption there. Ethereum comes in at number 5 with a large positive sentiment. Litecoin has been rallying the price, so it comes in at 6. You got Electroneum, which is a blast from the past, coming in at number 7. Near Protocol also here at number 8, its positive and negative sentiment are tied right now. Metis DAO, never heard of that, but very high positive sentiment at number 9. And you got Loopring, never heard of that as well. Also has strong positive sentiments. Those are your top 10 trending tokens on social media. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is BitGo. BitGo is one of the top crypto custodians in the industry, folks. They are headed up by Mike Belshi, who is a Web 1.0 and 2.0 legend. BitGo is used by many top companies in the industry, such as exchanges, which includes Bitstamp. You got Pantera Capital, which is a hedge fund headed up by Dan Moorhead. You got Bitcoin IRA. And in fact, Nike selected BitGo for their wallet services for Nike's NFTs. So some of the services that they have available include hot wallets, custodial wallets, self-managed cold wallets, and NFT wallets. So if you'd like to learn more about BitGo, visit bitgo.com. Check out the link in the description. Now, folks, the Coinbase is going after the SEC. Here's the headline. Coinbase accuses US SEC of breaking the law in rejecting crypto rulemaking. The crypto exchange has petitioned for clear rules on digital assets, and the agency rejected the petition in December. Coinbase isn't taking no for an answer. I love this. I love this. We got to go after the bully that is scumbag regulator Gary Gensler. We see Gary's losing in court. They keep making things up as they go ahead, right? There's no clear rules here, even though Gary's been on TV saying there is. But we know he is a scumbag being controlled by Elizabeth Warren, who's controlled by the banking incumbents. That's the game here. And here's what Paul Grewal, chief legal officer at Coinbase, tweeted out about this. He says, today, Coinbase filed our opening brief in the Third Circuit challenging the SEC's denial of our rulemaking petition. The TLDR is the SEC's denial is arbitrary and capricious, an abuse of discretion, and a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act. And he continues here. I'll give you some of the details. If you go back and read the SEC's perfunctory denial, you'll be hard-pressed to find an actual reason for its inaction. This is despite the dozens of legitimate concerns we raised in our petition, including questioning the SEC's authority over the digital asset space. For years, the SEC acknowledged the limits of its authority over digital assets and asked Congress to give it additional authority to regulate our industry. And then practically overnight, the SEC decreed that it already had the authority and began waging an expansive enforcement campaign against the industry where its interpretation of the law continues to shift week by week. Perfectly summarized there by Paul. And we know Kraken is suing the SEC. You got Legilex also suing the SEC. So I love that the industry is going on the offensive. And as I've stated many times, the best way sometimes to stop a bully is to attack it, right? Attack him or her or whatever it may be. So this is great. The SEC is actually in a weak spot after all these major losses in the courts, after getting scolded by the judges in many different cases. Just look at the debt box situations. The SEC lawyers lied to the courts. The judge threatened to sanction them, and then the SEC had to back down. It's incredible what is happening, folks. We're dealing with a lot of corruption here in a government agency, and they're functioning based on our tax dollars. So we need to keep them accountable. We need to back up the companies that are fighting against them. We need to call our representatives and continue to expose the lies and hypocrisy of Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren. Use social media to your advantage. Now, the other big thing that's happening is the SEC is reviewing the Ethereum ETF, but there's a lot of talks of it's not going to get approved because of Gary and Elizabeth Warren, and there's a lot of complications here. And what I want to share is Matt Corva, who does law and legal at Consensus, which is, of course, the company that works on Ethereum. So his perspective is very important here because Consensus is building out Ethereum, of course. So he says, here are my personal thoughts on ETH ETF summarized. One, it's denied, maybe on correlation, but could also be on an argument ETH itself is an unregistered security. ETH is too big a movement for them. They have already been working hard to lay the ground on how they might arbitrarily differentiate ETH from Bitcoin for these purposes. See BlackRock delay RFC. If ETH goes, they get crushed by their political handlers, and they have no arbitrary ground left to battle against other coins. He says, this is a great thing. We'll finally open a door on an agency who has done backflips to avoid judicial review. See Gensler's refusal to comment in front of Congress. No formal agency guidance. Trying to disavow Hinman/Clayton, targeting no-show defendants and outright frauds, not naming big fish directly in complaints, Solana, Matic, etc. Court process will be slow but successful. SEC will lose ground in the end. ETFs will be approved in the end. The only question is whether Congress or a change in agency leadership occurs first in a way that beats out the court process. So great point. I've been talking about this, right? If Biden loses and a Republican comes in and they appoint a new, which would most likely be a Republican chair, that all this could change. But if not, the courts, we will beat Gary Gensler's ass in court. So just as we did with the Grayscale situation and the Bitcoin spot ETF, remember, Gary did not want to approve that. The courts had to force him to do it. And even the voting, you still had two Democrat commissioners who voted no, even though the law, the court said, you must approve this. So it's incredible what we're dealing with here. It's pathetic. He continues saying, it is what it is, people, and I hope I'm wrong. But either way, you should be happy that this is the beginning of the end if this is the path. Fight them in court and win. No one should be afraid of this. Actually create frameworks that protect consumers. Bring in more serious market participants. Stop chasing people offshore. It's all great in the end, even if there is one last slugfest to get there. Since there are a lot of you here, important to note this is based on the facts as we know them today. Things could change. We could see significant interaction with issuers. We could get statements or indications. It's important to stay in touch with what's happening in real time. This is great, folks. And like he said, even if the SEC denies its Ethereum ETF, it's a win because we will take them to court and hand Gary Gensler another big fat L. And that will actually have more of a bad optics, bad impact on him and Elizabeth Warren because they continue to lose. We know what the framework is now to fight back. We saw it with the Bitcoin ETF. We saw with Ripple, right? We saw with many other cases how to fight back against a bully like this. So he's right that, the SEC may be more afraid to approve the Ethereum spot ETF because it opens the door to all altcoins. But like I said, we're going to win this. We are on the right side of history. Now, Cody Carbone of the Chamber of Digital Commerce highlighted the following today. He says, digital assets are the future of finance. The Chamber of Digital Commerce is proud to support Jake Hoffman, Warren Peterson, Joseph Chaplick efforts in Arizona to explore investing state retirement funds and Bitcoin ETFs through SCR 1016, a great move to position Arizona as an innovation leader. So we had talked about this news last week. Arizona was exploring the ability to do this, and we talked about the implications because other states are going to follow suit, even countries, because the ETFs make it safe for them to easily invest in Bitcoin. And if Arizona does this and it's successful, that they are able to get this law passed for them to do it, other states are going to do it, right? We're going to see that, especially as states are trying to boost their revenues and their local GDP and so forth. So incredible stuff here, folks. Very bullish on this market. And let's see what Bitcoin decides to do later this weekend, as well as XRP and the other altcoins. Folks, if you want to buy Bitcoin and XRP and all the top altcoins, Uphold is a great place to do it. I've been using them since 2018. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies. You can also trade precious metals on this platform, such as gold, silver, palladium, platinum. Great app, easy to use, and they have proof of reserves. They are fully reserved. They don't commingle or lend out your funds. So be sure to check out Uphold. Link will be in the description. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you all later.